Hey everyone, this is Vickriman and welcome to Hearts of Iron 4 Waking the Tiger. And today we are going to be playing in this new expansion here. The focus of this expansion is on the east, of course, with updated focus trees for all of the different kingdoms of China, like the various factions there, as well as Japan. They also added some different alternative history paths for Germany, and I believe that the revision of Japan made that more of a thing for them as well. So today we are going to be playing as Japan, and we're going to be starting a series here. So let's just get right in there. Japan, the focus tree and everything has been reworked fairly significantly. We're not going to do Iron Man, and we're not doing historical because we are going ahistorical ourselves, and let's just see what happens there. I don't do Iron Man for YouTube series just because of the occasional crash or lost footage or something like that. So let's get into it. If you're watching this channel, you probably know a bit about Hearts of Iron. We did do a full Let's Play of the United Kingdom, a historical playthrough when the game first came out, and just been checking in ever since then. The idea here with Waking the Tiger, though, is to play a full campaign as Japan, which is one of the major powers. I think one of the only major powers that I have not played, at least on my own, either on my own or on YouTube, a full series with, well, as far as a full game all the way through. So that'll be interesting. This will be pretty new for me, although I've been playing a bit of Waking the Tiger as Japan to prep. Took a totally different route than what we are going to do. Alright, so got a lot of setup here at the beginning, but the first thing I want to do is well, let's check out these national spirits. We've got state Shintoism. That makes it so that our factories are less vulnerable to strategic bombing, and we also have a higher division recovery rate. We have a national spirit called Zaibatsus. That's daily political power cost plus 0.25. Trade law cost plus 25%, economy cost plus 25%, but we get extra civilian, military, and dockyard speed. However, I think that's extra consumer goods are required. Let's see if we can see that actually. That would be under construction. Consumer goods, we have, yes, so it adds so let's see, we've got expect 25%. We've got partial mobilization, which is 25% as a baseline. Zaibatsus adds 5%, and then it looks like our stability is going to take 4 off, and it rounds down. So that's what that's all about, and we'll see more about the Zaibatsus when we get into the national focus. We've got something called duplicate research efforts, which increases the air research time by 10%. We can get rid of that later. Militarism, war support plus 20%. Mobilization law cost, changing that law, is 25%. Justify war goal time, minus 20%, but we take a 5% research time penalty, and civilian factories are 10% slower. This is a new thing in Waking the Tiger, the inter-service rivalry. I believe it's new in this one, yeah, but it's new. We'll check it out because it's part of the new decision things. So like I said, the reworked focus tree. Primarily, we've got really 4 different distinct political paths, right? So these top level ones are all mutually exclusive, and basically they are choosing the different government types, right? So here as we can tell from this symbol, this is taking a communist approach and shifting your government in that direction. This one here, I believe this is sort of the traditional path, right? So you stay with the fascist ideology and basically go to war with China and head to the South Pacific. This role is basically, I'm not sure, I think maybe we'll have to check it a bit more. I think, yeah, so at this point, I'm pretty sure the government changes. I'm not sure what it changes to. It'd be kind of interesting to find out. And then we have the Democratic, right? So, and then the Manchurian Project wing is basically you have what is it called exactly? Manchukuo? Yeah, Manchukuo is a vassal. I think they're a vassal. Oh no, they're an imperial protectorate, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we are. Imperial protectorate. So they're sort of our, I mean, it's essentially a vassal. So we can take these focuses to improve their land. Then we have our army tree, our navy tree, and then the fighter tree as well. So, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview of these. So we're just going to hover over these so that the tooltips come up. Communist generals, huh? Exchange the exiles. Cast the die. Okay, so this triggers a civil war. Fate of the imperial family. Nationalize the Zaibatsus, which through context clues, the Zaibatsus are like corporations. Can improve the aluminum. Oh, so you can fight Manchukuo after that. And then, of course, you can join the commenter. Or basically say set up your own faction and invite communist China. It's very interesting. This is essentially historical. We've got the tripartite pact, which is not joining the Axis. It's kind of mutual defense treaties. We have Strike South, Marco Polo Bridge incident, which gets you into war with China. Develop Chinese resources. You can ally Siam, non-aggression pact with the Soviets, bypass or secure. And then this stuff improves resources. Yeah, once you have Singapore, you can add that kind of stuff to it. This tree here is shared between these two, and it's sort of the total mobilization. We have kamikaze. We have some spiritual mobilization stuff going on. This path, the idea of it that I can see is basically instead of going south and becoming in conflict with the, well, essentially with the Americans eventually, you go straight for the Soviet Union. So, and with that, you end up joining the Axis, and that kind of stuff. So that's interesting as well. It's a different approach. We have civilian government, and so we can ally with the Zaibatsus. That's pretty strong. You can get a research slot way early with this one. So the Showa Constitution. Rekindle the old alliance. Japan seeks to join the Allies. Or the West Pacific Treaty Organization. Pacific Guardian. Okay, so those are decisions that you get. The Korean question. Korean independence. Liberate Manchuria. United States gets event Philippine sovereignty. So I guess we asked them to release the Philippines. Joins ultimate deterrence. I don't know what that is. Is that a faction? Alright, and then this kind of stuff is pretty standard. This is an interesting choice here between these two. We have research time, but then this also just gives you division, defense, and attack bonuses permanently, which is nice. But you don't get these. So you have to trade between much quicker research for artillery and divisions, as well as, well, everything. Or getting flat bonuses. Nothing too exciting here. We can get into that when we get to it. Basically, this is the thing that removes that duplicate research efforts that I was talking about before, the 10% penalty to air research. Alright, so I think with this playthrough, we're going to try an alternate history path. And I think in this case, we are going to go democratic. So that means that the increasing values of liberalism and democracy, far from being a threat to our nation, could be its greatest strengths. We must ensure our government is strengthened so that it can protect these ideals. I'm not sure yet whether I want to join the Allies, which would be a crazy thing. I'm almost thinking no, just because I mean, I suppose we might face the Soviet Union. That's true. So that might be an option. I was thinking that if we are not in the Axis, like Germany's really going to be the only enemy that we will have if we join the Allies. But that is true. The Soviets as well. So, but we'll worry about that when we get to it. What would be really cool is if we get China into our own faction at that point. I suppose we would need to make sure that we stop communist China at some point, because otherwise they're going to gobble it all up. Japan starts with 4 research slots, which is nice. We do have a bit of a penalty. So we're a little bit slower, but a nice spread of options, and it is 36. You actually start with quite a few technologies then as well. I think maybe one of the things that I'm gonna get, let's do our flat artillery upgrade. I don't think we have any artillery in our divisions at the moment, but we're gonna start stockpiling that. Let's get that upgraded fighter for sure. And electronic engineering, of course. And we're gonna go with basic machine tools. For our first round of factories, I like doing civilian ones first. At some point they changed this to where the infrastructure actually gives you a bit of a boost when it's high for constructing buildings. So, since civilian factories take quite a long time, we're going to try to put it in sectors that have a pretty high, like states that have a pretty high infrastructure. So we're going to start with that. We are probably going to build some of these as well because we have issues with resources, specifically oil. I suppose we're going to have issues with... you can build 3 already. Interesting. Hokkaido. Yeah, we're going to get more slots eventually as well. Let's just do that, because these take a long time to research as well. Military factories take less time, so we'll put them in some of these lower ones. And that'll make us be good for a while. It's possible we may not get into too much conflict early on, so that will help us out. I'm going to focus on infantry equipment for the time being. Carrier naval bombers, obviously nice to have a stockpile of that. Weirdly, we start with submarines already in production that are out of date. And I'm gonna build... let's make sure we got carrier fighters as well. Carriers are a nice way to go with Japan, and we definitely need to increase the artillery production. I need more support equipment too. It's tough to balance indeed. Okay, so we have 5 dockyards. I do want to try to get this guy done as quick as we can. We'll just do them all there. And then we'll focus on that one once we get this one finished. We want to get these guys built because we're going to upgrade. And that's just the submarines, which that'll be fine because it'll just build the one. We're not going to get anything by switching it. Alright, so our divisions start off kind of terrible, but we don't have any infantry, or army experience to fix that. Of course, we're going to get some Marines because I mean, it's obviously important for us here in Japan. Now, we do have a special forces cap now. That's why I can't get any more. So we are fielding 6 and training 18 of our 25 allowed battalions. So a battalion is not the division, it's these guys here. So each one of these is given a 6. So that gives us to our cap with the Marine unit that we already have out there. Even though the infantry template right now is not great, we are going to train some. Because we can always change it later. I'm not going to bother assigning just yet. A few more motorized is not bad. And I do tend to like the light tank for Japan. It seems like a good idea, given the fact that we're operating a lot of lower supply regions. So, unlike most nations, plus we don't have a ton of military factory production potential. I think we are going to focus on light tank, which is something I very rarely do. Alright, so we don't have production of tanks or the motorized, which is a bit of a problem. Of course, we don't have any factories really, but we can do something like this we will be getting more factories soon. I guess we can pump that back. I think we're gonna have quite a while to get restocked there. So as we build more, that'll help. All right, so our divisions are out there. We've got quite a few spread out over these Pacific Islands. So I'm just gonna select all of them and just create a group. And okay, those are ships. We'll worry about that in a sec. So what we've got going on here, 22 divisions, and we're just gonna front line right there. We may take some cold attrition, but we'll also acclimatize, so it won't be as bad. But we do want to kind of have some troops there on that border. Alright, and so we'll just do that. To a front line right there in China. I don't think we're going to fight China, but you never know. And we'll just move these units over there as well. I suppose we could put a small army there on Mongolia. Oh, come on. Here we go. XX, we got 5 left, which is not bad. Do that. And we've got a few more units out here. Yeah, I'm just going to add them to this sort of defense group. Okie dokie. So yeah, we'll split up into theaters once we get more complex, but for now, it'll be okay. And each army, we do have a few more that are not assigned. You. Just pop you over there. And we'll rearrange some of this stuff. Probably change some of these units out. For example, the cavalry. And we'll pick some generals. The generals have become a bit more personality driven. You can add traits once you have this command power, which is kind of cool. It's you use it to unlock new traits for the generals, as well as to do special orders, which they unlock through their traits mostly. Infantry officers, not too bad for, oh, that's an experience gain factor. So that guy would make a pretty ideal training guy. Trying to decide who would be good for sort of a somewhat cold weather. I think that's the guy. Let's see if we can unlock anything. Just that, but we don't have any command power. We'll come back later. Alright, so for this sort of garrison unit here, I'm not too worried about somebody really good. Logistics +1. That would be good. And he's got these glider planes. Huh, interesting. So he's got those that are available, but we don't have the points for it. So this is the Chinese front. Somebody who's good with supply would be good there as well. But honestly, I think I'm going to give like the super good guy there. Yeah, once we get some more command points, we can assign things there. They still gain traits through doing stuff. And in fact, when you look at it, you can see this is an earned trait. So you gain experience while fighting on the desert, fighting on the marsh. This is an earned trait as well. You gain from using battle plans. This is from hardness over 40% of your army. So if you have a bunch of tanks, it'll make him better at commanding them, which is very nice. But I think that's going to work for the time being. We should check out the ships. And what I like to do with this, just because I want to figure out exactly where everybody is. And it's a pain to do that. So we're just going to merge everybody up. And from there, we'll split off and assign different fleets. Same with the planes. We're just gonna disband these for now, and then we'll reassign them once we know exactly who we're gonna be fighting. This doesn't take too long to reassign these guys. So we are going to disband, return to reserves. Yes. And that way we just don't have things that are lost out there. When there's no war, we don't have any use for planes out there. So I'll just wait for the troops to, or the ships to get over there. So for this garrison unit, we're going to actually give them garrison orders. Oh, that might help. Come on, man. Oh. Why is it not showing that? Okay, there we go. There we go. Something weird. So we're just gonna assign our little islands, which is kind of tough. And I'll just let them sort of reassign as they want. We may get adjusted orders as time goes on. I think we've got it all. Good enough. Okay, I think the fleet is ready to go. So let's grab... Got 3 carriers. I suppose we'll do 3 carrier groups. We'll do... Does that not work? Create a new fleet. Where's the carrier? Let's do a Kagi. Give you a couple of battleships. some destroyers. I think we've got some other classes down here. Come on. Some light cruisers. That might be a bit too much, but okay. Heavy cruiser. These won't be like super balanced, but you know, it'll be all right. Create new fleet. We'll do all submarines just to get those out of the way. Usual. Gonna give you some battleships, destroyers. Loads of destroyers. I think maybe 4 of those guys. That's all the light cruisers. No problem. Alright. And the last one. So you get all those battleships. I'm not going to give you all the destroyers, because we will have a few that are just going to go and help us out with our convoys. All the rest of these heavy cruisers. And that's probably fine. So, we've got Escort Fleet. Convoy rating, so that guy would be good on our submarines. I think we're just gonna go with a good old level 3 guy here. Escort convoys. And let's do it around Japan, I think. Let's see. That's going to be the most of our transport for the time being, I think. And we can assign your home port to South Korea. I think we accidentally... Yep. Accidentally had 2 fleets selected. So this one... Naval AA is not bad. Be nice to get this guy leveled up. Yeah, because he's got a bonus to carriers. We're just going to have him assigned, even though he's skill level 1. Let's see if we can get him up to speed. We're just going to do search and destroy. I think... Oh, you already assigned there? Is that right? Yes. That's actually okay. So we'll have you defend that region. Select this fleet. Has sort of a higher concentration of screens. So I'll assign you with the idea being that hopefully the extra AA will protect the screen ships from naval bombers. That's sort of the reasoning. We're going to protect that region. And our last carrier fleet. I didn't name that guy. We'll just give you this really good one here. Yamamoto. And yeah, I think maybe you're gonna operate around here. I suspect that that's where we're gonna be seeing, you know, if we end up going to war with the Americans. This is sort of a hot spot. Trying to decide if we have an upgraded naval base anywhere. Be nice if it showed you the number right there. Oh, that's 3. That's probably as good as we're gonna get. So stationed there at the Marshall Islands. Yamamoto's fleet. Yep. And this one is assigned here. Seas and defense, because they're in the East China Sea as well as the Sea of Japan. And our other fleet here. Hang on, which one are you at? Okay, this might be an easier way to do this. Seas Defense Fleet, we named you incorrectly. Sorry about that. Philippine Fleet. Because we're basically by the Philippines there. And Japan Fleet 4, you are the Seas Defense Fleet. This will help me later on when I'm building more ships to get them assigned properly. Now, as far as raiding convoys goes, I'm gonna give you this guy here. Convoy raiding. Not sure. Not sure indeed. I suppose maybe we want to go in this sort of region as well. No. Let's do that. That should be okay. And you should probably have a more appropriate naval base. There, a whole lot of administration work as we get started, but that'll help things move a bit more quickly. Got everything sort of organized, and we're ready for anything. What do we got hanging out here? There's 3 destroyers. Did we miss these? Oh, these are new, I'm sure. And we didn't have any assigned fleets there. So we'll just put you in with that, and that should work for me. Tada Shige's Raiders. Alright, let's check the old armies to see. We can probably exercise some of these guys to give us some army experience, as well as to get them up to regulars. I think we will go ahead and do that. Even though it's not 100% necessary, we probably have the time to do so. I'm not trading for resources because... Wait, what happened? Oh, Spanish Civil War. Very early, I think. We're not going to trade for resources because we want to focus our factories on construction. We do have a couple fleets coming from America with oil, which is fine, because if we don't do that, we'll basically have no production. Alright, well, not too much exciting has happened. We'll wait for our national focus to fire before we close out. But I hope you'll come back for the next episode as we really get started here with Japan going democratic. That gives us a bunch of political power. It's nice. Which I think the idea is that we would then hire this fella to get us going. So it's going up by 0.20, which is higher than you might think. Let's do that. That's going to be great to have that so early. Well, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe so you'll see when the next video goes live of this democratic Japan run of Hearts of Iron 4, Wicking the Tiger.